Ask the House if I could share 2 minutes of my time with Senator Maloney.
Is that agreed?
I would like to start first of all by welcoming the Minister to the House and to say, Senator Byrne, you never disappoint. Just to remind you that 16 years of Fianna Fáil in government preceded this situation where we are today. And in terms of Senator O'Brien's contribution, I'd like to remind her that indeed the date that was set for February the 29th was indeed set by the previous administration. I also noted his comments in relation to the Labour Party. And just to say, you know, is it some power crazy thing that we have within Fianna Fáil that they were not only content with 16 years of government, but tried to tie the hands of the next government coming in behind them at the same time. Now, I'm proud that the Labour Party supports the Croke Agreement. I must say that I'm quite disturbed at a lot of what I'm currently reading in the media and what I'm currently hearing about the Croke Agreement. One of the things that's not being said is that we have an admirable public service in this country, that we have an admirable public service ethos in this country. And what I'm not reading are all of the occasions when public servants are at the front of the people who are facing the dole, who put in extra hours, who are dealing with very distressed and very upset people, and day in and day out do a public service for this country. But unfortunately, and I have a list of media content in front of me here, that is not what has been emphasised by the media in this country today. I'd also like to say that there's a huge amount, and the Minister referred to it, of us and them going on. Division. You know, those people with safe, secure, highly paid jobs on the one hand versus everybody else living in deep uncertainty on the other. That is simply not true. And it's a point I'm going to come back to. And I'd also like to say that I resent in the media the implications that there is some major division between the Labour Party and the Fine Gael Party on the issue of the Croke Agreement, because that is just simply not true. In relation, just one point, Senator Sheehan, about underperformance in the public service, I just wanted to refer to something in relation to the PMDS system within the public service, Performance Management Development Systems. There was a review on its effectiveness in 2010, and it has been agreed and acknowledged that, you know, it's a system that needs to work better to strengthen performance management. But there is also, dare I say, a robust system in place to examine the effectiveness and the efficiencies within the public service. So it is not true to say that people sit in the public service with jobs for life and that their effectiveness is never subject to review. In relation to the agreement itself, I'd like to say that we have this agreement because it makes sense. We're not Greece. This isn't Ireland in the 1980s. I lived through Ireland in the 1980s. I was doing my Leaving Cert at the time. I had to study by candlelight. Is that what people in this country want? We have a system where we have an agreement with our public servants. Sacrifices have been made on both sides, including by public servants. And as the Minister said, very significant cuts have been suffered by our public servants. I'd also like to say on the subject of increments, because I know it's a very contentious issue at the moment, and a number of people have, in the media in particular, painted this to be the big bogey of the Croke Agreement. And I say, you know, I don't know that a lot of people know that the people most impacted by the failure to pay these increments are the lowest paid public servants in this country. Not the highly paid public servants that people are so keen to put their benefits up there in the media. They're the people who earn between 23,000 and 37,000 over a period of 17 years. And incidentally, new entrants at that grade have had their salaries reduced to 20,000. Up to 33,000. And I don't know how many of Lily O'Brien's staff are earning that kind of money. So, another point,
I will ask you to conclude now.
Another point I'd like to say is that a lot of women are in the position of being the most poorly paid in the Irish civil and public service. So when it comes to the increments, and I'll finish on this point and hand over to my colleague, I'd like to say, Minister, there is going to be a review of this agreement in April 2012. And I believe that it's the lower paid grades of the public service that have suffered most, in fact, from the Croke Agreement. And I would ask that we go back to that agreement and see how we can rebalance the effects of the Croke Agreement on the lower paid public servants.